All right, so the last tool we need in our toolbox is Git. Git is a source code management tool, the most popular one across all languages and platforms. It allows you to share your code with other developers, and it allows other developers to contribute code to your project. There's a lot more to it than that, but that should suffice for now. In another video, I'm going to show you, our series of videos, I'm going to show you some first steps with Git real quick after we finish this little series, this particular video, and I'm going to show you how you'll be able to download my code from GitHub using Git. So this is a crucial skill. You have to know Git. It's so important. We're putting it right up here at the very front of the experience of learning how to program. Okay, so let's get started by downloading and installing Git. I'm just going to go git install in my favorite search engine, and looks like we're going to want the top link. It is almost always git-scm for sourcecodemanagement.com/downloads. Again, URLs change, search for it, make sure it's the right location. There's some scammy links depending on your search engine to get you to download something of nefarious value. All right, so the page should look something like this, but again, you want to make sure that you are downloading the legitimate version of Git for your particular operating system. I'm going to download from this big link right here at the top of the page, download 2.27.0. Versions don't matter, grab the latest. All right, and after a moment, Git will be downloaded to our computer. Let's go ahead and launch it right here from the web browser. All right, it pops up a user account control dialog. We're going to go ahead and say, go ahead and change everything about our computer. All right, so we want to accept the lawyer speak and install to the default location. Git is a little bit different than the other installers that we've gone through, in so much that there are a lot of options that we're going to need to pay attention to as we're installing. For the most part, I'm going to choose all the defaults, but you might want to take a few moments and just understand what you're getting yourself into. So there's really nothing here that I want to change per se. It's going to be in this dialog that things start requiring a little bit of thought. So first of all, there will be times when we need to get in and edit a text file. What tool do we want to use to edit that text file? Now, Git is created by the same person as who created Linux, Linus Torvalds. And so it's very geared towards working in Linux. All right. So Linux has a very popular set of text editors from the command line called V and Vim. And so by default, it selects Vim as Git's default editor. It even calls it the ubiquitous text editor. Wow. However, you do see options if you pull the drop down to work in Visual Studio Code. I'm going to leave that up to you. I'm going to leave Vim as the default, but you could choose Visual Studio Code or Notepad or something like that, some text editor that is like Windows based, right? I'm just going to go ahead and leave Vim, and we'll revisit that later. You can always change it if you don't like that selection later on. It's just a configuration file change. All right, so adjust your path environment. We've already seen previously how path variables are important. Here we want to be able to run Git from the command line and also third-party software. So there are some tools that sit on top of Git and give you a visual environment. Visual Studio Code is one of them that has some built-in Git integration. So we definitely want to leave that option, the recommended option, selected and move on. All right, it asks when it communicates with other, like a Git server, where you actually store your code off of your own hard drive into a repository stored out on, say, GitHub, for example, what library do you want to use? All right, yeah, just OpenSSL is fine. I don't care about that. All right, so here's another tricky one. Because sometimes you're going to be working in a Linux environment, a Mac environment, or in Windows environment, the way that they store ASCII files is different. Line endings are different. And so this is asking you, do you want Git to take care of that conversion for you? Yes, let Git handle that. I'm not going to change from the default. All right, here is a option for a terminal emulator. Use Minty, I'm fine with that. Choose the default behavior for a git pull. All right, so this is talking about the way that when you retrieve data online, what are the commands going on behind the scenes? Again, the default here is just fine. And there are some extra options here. I'm not going to change any of these. The only one that I kind of am thinking that someday I might experiment with is to turn off the Git credential manager. I actually kind of prefer it to not store my credentials because I may want to use two different GitHub accounts, or yeah, that's a good example. Two different GitHub accounts, and the Git credential manager can only store one. If you don't think that'll ever be a scenario you need to worry about, then just leave these options alone. All right, and then let's click next. I don't want to install any experimental features for like sudo consoles. I don't even understand what that is. I'm not going to worry about it. I've never needed it. I doubt you will. So one of the things that you're going to need to come to terms with immediately is that Git is a command line tool. It comes with its own command line shell called Git Bash, which is like the bash shell that you find in Linux. So this is a Windows program that allows you to type Linux commands, but then behind the scenes, it translates those into DOS commands. So it's going to, let's go ahead and just launch Git Bash. This will be the last time I ever talk about Git Bash. It also opened up the release notes. Let's minimize those. All right, so for example, you could do a dir for the directory, or you could do an ls, which is a bash command. And if you use the bash command version, you will get coloring for certain files and folders. And the same thing is true with certain Git commands. You'll get some additional console based line colors that you won't get if you use just the Windows command prompt. So we're never going to talk about this again. Let's pretend it never happened. It just comes along for the ride. For my money, we can do everything we need to do with the Windows command prompt. In fact, I'm just going to type git -- version just to see that I have Git version 2.27.0.windows.1. That's perfect. All right, so that wraps up everything that we're going to need to do to get our development environment set up. If there are any additional steps, I'll add them after this video, but I think we're pretty good for now. So let's start right here where we left off and talk about how to get my source code onto your computer. So, and we'll do that in a mini series about Git, just getting started with the basics. That'll be probably be the next thing that you should look at after this series of videos. All right, so I'll see you there. Thanks.